Hey, Bears fans, welcome back into another episode of the latest. It is Friday, June the 20th, and we are now under a month until training camp is going to start for our rookies. As always, I'm Brandon, and here's what's going on with your Bears. Some interesting things coming out today in the media. On 670 The Score, with it's on the Spiegel and Holmes show. Jason Leisure was on and was talking about how Ben Johnson may not be as high up on Cole Kmet and DJ Moore as we originally thought. If you remember back, if you read some of the articles that were coming out early on in camp or in OTAs, excuse me, you were talking about the body language, the just going up to line up and running plays and putting forth that full effort. It sounds like Ben had to really light a fire under these guys to get them to come together. And now there's rumors out there that they're really considering thinking about jettisoning either one or both of these guys on and believing and putting everything into the future. Seeing that we drafted Colston Loveland and we drafted Luther Burden. Um, I am skeptical that anything's going to happen during training camp because the guys I just mentioned, Loveland and Burden, both haven't been really on the field at all because of injuries and contract issues with Luther Burden. So I don't see that happening during training camp. And believe it or not, I don't even think it's going to happen during the beginning of the season. And it depending on how players are being used and the players that Caleb is really growing confident with and building rapport with, I think that's going to tell or be the tell on who is going to stay and who's going to go. And as of right now, depending on how the tight end room plays, I hate this idea because I just spoke on this a couple days ago about Cole Kmet possibly going to the Steelers, but the thought of him possibly going if this new guy Joel Wilson, who's an UDFA that came in, not UDFA, I'm sorry, who's a practice squad guy that is in camp still with us, and Durham Smythe, if he ends up showing up, there's a possibility that we may be looking at Cole possibly being on the move, and dude is only 26 still, so we'll talk more about him in a minute, but DJ has had a bit of an attitude the last season and a half ish, and it was really apparent, even during the Packers game last year when he coughed up that fumble and just kind of lackadaisical, and he didn't like it that we weren't winning, just like a lot of our players did, you know. And it sounds like he is not taking to Ben Johnson like we were hoping. Now, we could be completely wrong and we might get into camp and he's going to, now that he has to be there, he's required, he's going to show up and show out. I mean, he's been a participant in camp and, in OTAs. So, it's hard to say, but, those first, week or two of practice is going to be very telling. How do you feel about that? Do you think that the young guys, our Luther Burdens and our Colston Lovelands, they're ready to step up and fill those shoes, and Ben is going to be able to utilize them and set them up to succeed, or this is just a bunch of just off-season fodder that is just being pumped out there. Let me know what you think. Put a comment down below. We're gonna keep talking about this because Cole Kmet and I'm about near slightly tears. I might be cutting some onions a little bit here. I love Cole Kmet. I love the fact that he's a homegrown Chicago Bears fan. Went to Notre Dame, right down the road at South Bend, and he's been he's been the consummate player and has just been a great fixture here for Chicago sports. He had a show on CHGO called The 85 with him and Adam Hogue. One of my favorites to tune into. Um, so the thought of him possibly leaving really really bothers me. And I guess if he could go anywhere, this spot would probably be the place I would want him to go. On the New York Giants, excuse me, the New York Jets Sports Illustrated page, they were talking. The guy from Clutch Points, Mike G, we'll call him because I can't pronounce his last name. Sorry, from Clutch Points was rumoring that Kmet would go to the Jets to be reunited with Justin Fields, who had a couple of really good seasons with Fields, prior to last season's downward slump with Flus and Shane Waldron and company. So it sounds like that they are still looking for a replacement for Tyler Conklin, and this could be a good fit, especially with the familiarity. Uh, Fields and Kmet both know each other's game and everything. That would be a really good security blanket. The only way I would do this deal, and it was the first thing that came to mind, I would do this Brees Hall for Cole Kmet straight up. That's the only way I would do this deal. Brees Hall, straight up for Cole Kmet. If I'm not getting that, then I better be getting a second round pick at the very least. Because Cole Kmet has got a very team friendly deal. He's got 2 more years left on it. He's 26. He is, in prime right now. So I would not be, asking for anything less than a second round pick. And if you can't get that, you better be getting a first. And if you can't get a first, then do a player for player swap. And I would do Brees Hall because I think Brees Hall could then step in and be that guy. The only thing is, I don't think they're going to do it in the in the training camp here. I don't think anything's going to be done until probably the trade deadline once they are able to assess. What do you guys think about that? What do you think about Kmet possibly going to the Jets? Doesn't hurt as much as what that maybe the Steelers would have, but it still hurts nonetheless. Tell me your thoughts. What do you think a trade package would be for him? How would you feel about Brees Hall, being flipped for Kmet? Yeah, tell me what you think. So, talking about DJ Moore being traded potentially to a team, which that's the other thing. You've got to find yourself a trade partner, somebody that's going to take on DJ's deal, and you're able to find the right compensation. So let's just say that maybe, just maybe, they trade him, get some sort of compensation, but now they're looking to fill, his shoes. Apparently, rumor has it, whether DJ Moore is traded or not, it sounds like the Bears are still in touch with Keenan Allen. That Keenan Allen still may start his season off and play this season with the Bears, which that would be that would blindside me because it's all been a foregone conclusion that he was going to be with another team, possibly signing with the Falcons or maybe even going back and reuniting with the Chargers. But now we're hearing that, possibly with this trade or because Luther Burden is not up to speed yet and could struggle out of the floodgate, that then maybe they need a slot receiver to start off with, and who better to get than Keenan Allen? I mean, he played that well last season, considering all the crap that we had to deal with our terrible offense. So seeing him possibly come in and then getting rid of Tyler Scott, because I sorry Tyler Scott, I think your days as a Bear are numbered, and then Zacchaeus being there, Burden, you could still have a very strong wide receiver room because Keenan was still balling out despite the crap that was our offense. So he could slot in and play the number 3. But again, I wouldn't do it unless you seriously were trading DJ Moore. if you were seriously trading him to a wide receiver needy team, then yeah, I would probably look there. But I don't think I would want to sign Keenan Allen if he's going to be below the third wideout position or third wideout on the roster. It's not fair to him, and it's not fair to the other players because they're going to all have to fight each other for the rock and to get their yards, especially if there's incentives that are tied to their deals and everything. It would be great to have him back, but it also takes away from other players. So I think it all will depend on if this whole Ben Johnson not high on DJ and Cole thing is really a thing. And it's interesting because this is all coming out within the last week, like not even a full week. This has been coming out with Kmet. We've been hearing about DJ for a while. I mean, everything's kind of coming together, and I think it was also very telling that during the presser with Ben Johnson talking about four players that stood out to him at OTAs. The DJ Moore's name wasn't mentioned. Neither was Cole Kmet. The Joel Wilson, the tight end that came in partway last season and has bounced around to a few other teams, that was the guy that got called out. And I guess I had to stop and rationalize this, and maybe he's the guy that you know can you know be like Cole and block from time to time, or it's another vertical threat in this 12 personnel, or you can come up with packages where Durham Smythe is run blocking and you've got both tight ends out there, or you're rotating. I mean, they're but that would have to be if you are absolutely 110% sure that Joel Wilson is that guy. And until pads are on and things like that, guys, I don't see that happening. I just can't imagine. Why can't we Chicago Bears fans enjoy having two tight ends that are going to be out there and causing problems? It's a huge mismatch. This offense is going to be super dynamic and super lethal because of that, because of all the different wrinkles that you could have out there on the field. I don't want to see it happen. Um, either either of those guys getting traded. So Keenan Allen, I'd love to have you back, but I don't think that it's fair to you and fair to the other skill players on the team. So would I be happy if you came back? Absolutely, yes. But there would have to be some other roster moves that have to be made in order for that to be even logical. So what do you think, Bears fans? Would you like to see Keenan Allen come back? Did you enjoy having him last season? Future Hall of Famer, or is it just it's not necessary? We already have the personnel there, or what would a logical trade package be for DJ Moore? If you were looking to get some sort of compensation for him, which it better be damn good compensation. But if, say, you did, then would a guy like Keenan Allen, should he be brought in? Would you like to see him back at that rate? Let me know your thoughts. So yesterday we talked about Zadarius Smith, and it was so interesting. I'm going to end on this note because it was interesting because Zadarius Smith was actually rumored as of today, actually yesterday, to be considered a target for the Bears, and that Ben Johnson is rumored to be wanting to bring him over to Detroit from Detroit to Chicago. Sorry, my tongue is like slipping up today, guys. He is interested in signing Smith, which I am all for because I think the productivity that he had between, I think it was Cleveland and Detroit last year was was really good. I mean, having five sacks, I think for Cleveland, four for Detroit, and being a high motor guy, he saved the Detroit Lions defensive line when Aiden Hutchinson went down and was the boost that they needed. I think in this case, I want to see him come over and be that guy that helps usher in the next level of edge rushers for the Bears. I would love to see him be that guy to help set the standard, set the tone for what they want to do there with their younger players. I think he would be a great fit. I'm hoping that that's going to be the move. I think if there is any sort of free agent move, it's got to be definitely Zadarius Smith or one of those other guys, but hope to God it's Zadarius Smith. I think he would be rock solid. And I think the packages that Dennis Allen, we've talked about this before, but it's got to be discussed again. I think that he's going to be able to scheme very well uh, with having a guy like Smith in the lineup, and then having Austin Booker in rotate in, Dio Dangbo brought in, have Jervon Dexter Sr. kick out to the edge. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be so many options that Dennis Allen could then actually execute with his defense. So I'm all on board. I hope we see Zadarius Smith get signed, and then that way we can kind of put to rest that whole question going into training camp. What do you guys think? Would you like to see Zadarius Smith complete the full circle of going to every single team in the NFC North and finish and conclude with Chicago? Or is there another guy out there on the edge that you would rather see brought in to help bolster that line? Tell me what you think there. And then as we leave, I apparently like I'm just hitting everything at the right time, Bears fans, because CJ Mosley, we talked about him on yesterday's show. Talked about how he would be a good fit for the outside backer position. And as of today, he is retired from the NFL. So congratulations on a storied career, C.J. Mosley. Very awesome linebacker to watch. I truly enjoyed watching him play in Baltimore. And that's just one less good guy out there for us to possibly bring in and strengthen that unit. So happy trails to you there, C.J. Mosley, and Bears fans. That's all I've got for you today. Drop a comment below if you have anything for me. Also, like and subscribe. Thank you to all of you that have subscribed so far. Let's continue to grow this thing, especially going into training camp and the regular season. We're going to have a lot to be talking about. Not right now. If you think this is a lot, this is a slow news day, I think. Guys, there's going to be more great Bears coverage coming as we get into the regular season. So again, thank you for everything you guys do. We'll see you next week. And as always, bear down.